Abraham responded to the divine command, Lech Lecha, go forth from your land, from your birthplace, from your father's house to the land that I will show you. And he and Sarah began their journey, wandering from place to place. A rabbinic story compares Abraham to a traveler who suddenly sees a palace engulfed in flames. He wonders aloud, is it possible that this palace has no one who looks after it? At that moment, the owner appears and says, I am the owner of the palace. Similarly, when Abraham wondered, could it be that this world has no one who looks after it? The Blessed Holy One responded, I am the owner of the world. In an article entitled Wonder and Indignation, Abraham's Uneasy Faith, Rabbi Shai Held quotes the 19th century scholar, Rabbi David Luria. When Abraham saw that the wicked were setting the world on fire, he began to doubt in his heart, perhaps there is no one who looks after this world. Immediately God appeared to him and said, I am the owner of the world. Abraham's question is like an exclamation of horror, Rabbi Held writes. Is this really what the world is like? As soon as he asks that question, God appears to him and says, perhaps reassuringly, perhaps just matter-of-factly, I am the owner of the world. Whatever faith Abraham finds, it will not be easy. It will be the faith of a man who has considered the very real possibility that chaos and bloodshed are simply all there is. This all feels so real to us. In our bewilderment and anguish, we too ask, is it possible that chaos and bloodshed is simply all there is? Is it possible that this world has no one who looks after it? These times, especially over the past year, there's a pervasive feeling of concealment. It has been hard to feel God's presence in the world, as if God has withdrawn or turned away from the world, leaving the world in tatters. The psalmist cries out in protest, Lama panecha tastir, tishkach onienu velachatzenu. Why do you hide your face, ignoring our affliction and distress? Where are you, God? And where are we, human beings? We know the world is not meant to be this way. Have we too withdrawn and forsaken the world? Why do we hide our face? Hannah Senesh was born in Budapest and immigrated to Palestine in 1939 at the age of 18. She became a student at the Nahalal Agricultural School in the Galilee and joined the underground army of pre-state Israel, the Palmach, where she trained as a paratrooper. In 1943, Jewish agency officials asked her to join a clandestine military operation. So in March of 1944, she was dropped behind enemy lines in Yugoslavia to assist Allied forces and support Jews in occupied Europe. She was captured 3 months later. And she was taken to a prison in Budapest, where she was tortured before facing a firing squad. She was 23 years old. Hannah Senesh is celebrated for her courage, and she left behind letters, poems, and diary entries. And many of us are familiar with Hannah Senesh because of her most famous poem called Alicha leKeisaria, A Walk to Caesarea, known as Eli, Eli. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam. That's Hannah Senesh. I invite you now to turn to another poem that she wrote in the booklet called Horizon. It's on page 4. This poem, as it happens, was written exactly 84 years ago. On October 11th, 1940, while Hannah Senesh was a student in Nahalal, exactly to the day 84 years ago. In the fires of war. במדורות מלחמה, בדלקה, בשרפה, בין ימים סוערים של הדם, הנני מבעירה פרנסי הקטן, לחפש בן אדם. שלהבות השרפה מדיחות פרנסי, אור האש מסנוור את עיניי. איך אביט, איך אראה, איך אדע, איך אכיר כשהוא יעמוד לפניי. תן סימן אלוהים, תן סימן על מצחו, כי באש, בדלקה ובדם, כן נכיר את הזיק הטהור הנצחי, את אשר חיפשתיו בן אדם. In the fires of war, in the flames, in the fire, among stormy days of blood, I turn on my small lamp to search for a human being. The flames of the fire are extinguishing my lamp, the light of the fire dazzling my eyes. How will I look? How will I see? How will I know? How will I be aware when he stands before me? Give me a sign, Lord, give me a sign on his forehead, that in the fire and the flames and the blood, I will know the pure, eternal spark, that which I searched for, a human being. The poem feels as relevant today as ever. Like Abraham in the rabbinic story, Hannah Senesh perceives a world engulfed in flames. The fires of war overshadow her small lamp as she searches for a human face, for the pure, eternal spark that defines humanity. The horrors and trauma of last October 7, the ongoing war, the massive death and destruction, and the turmoil we feel all around us have plunged us into a spiritual crisis, diminishing and dimming our faith in humanity and leaving us struggling for hope. Many of us have become cynical and question the possibility of our different reality. Is it possible that chaos and bloodshed is simply all there is? Is it possible that the world has no one to care for it? Where are human beings? Where is our humanity? A legend tells that after creating Adam and Eve in the divine image, God grew concerned that they might misuse this divine nature, their divine nature, instead of using it for good. So God decided to hide it from them. God contemplated a hiding place. Where shall I conceal their divinity? Then God decided, I will hide their divinity deep within the core of their being. This will be the last place they think to search for it. I believe that we gather on this evening of Kol Nidre feeling the overwhelming need to tear down the veils and to draw both God and our own humanity out of concealment. We are here in our humility and vulnerability, without pretense or justification, ready to acknowledge our failures and wrongdoings. We dare to dive deep into our souls in search of our essence, striving to reach our true humanity. We are in search here, tonight and tomorrow, in search of our holiest selves, and we are in search of the divine presence. With the psalmist, we say, Et panecha Adonai avakesh, al taster panecha mimeni. Your face, O God, I do seek. Do not hide your face from me. Kayal ta'arog al afikei mayim, ken nafshi ta'arog elecha Elohim. Tzama nafshi le'Elohim le'el chai. Like a hind crying for water, my soul cries for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, the living God. But how can we search when our lamp has been overshadowed by the flames that threaten to engulf us? When the brightness of those flames has blinded our eyes and left us unable to see? Like Hannah Senesh, we do not want to succumb to darkness. And we seek God's help as we search for humanity among the tumult and confusion. We yearn to know that the eternal spark of the divine within us has not been extinguished or lost. As you may remember, God is not mentioned at all in the biblical book of Esther. As total destruction threatens her people at a time when God is not visible, Esther searches for hints of God, for signs and intimations of God, and she chooses to act, and she saves her people. In a powerful teaching about the book of Esther and the miracle of Purim, Rabbi Huntner tells the following parable. Two people are tasked with recognizing a face in the darkness. One lights a candle and closely examines the face to identify it. The other, without a candle, learns to discern people through subtle hints. Certainly, the first people achieves a clearer recognition by sight than the second person can manage with mere hints. However, the second person develops a unique skill, the ability to recognize others in total darkness. This teaching urges us to train ourselves to search in this darkness of ours, when our lamp has been extinguished, to look for the faces, divine and human, even in the absence of light, until dawn returns. We have all heard stories of incredible heroism, solidarity and resilience in the midst of the horror of October 7 and its aftermath. Incredible stories of survival, of people who risked their lives to come to the rescue in the absence of the army. The emergency responders, the extraordinary solidarity of those who organized to provide for the needs of the survivors. The emotional support that the families of the hostages received. There are so many inspiring stories. I'd like to briefly share two October 7 stories of a different nature about how people navigate through the darkness. As you all know, Hirsch Goldberg Polin was taken hostage on October 7 at the Nova Music Festival and was murdered by Hamas after surviving 11 months in captivity. At his funeral, his father, Jonathan Polin, said the following: "One of the most fitting posts I saw about Hirsch yesterday was the one that said, Yehi zichro ma'apecha. May his memory be a revolution." This, of course, is a play on the conventional saying, talking about somebody who's passed on, Yehi zichro livracha. May his memory be for a blessing. But instead, the post that Jonathan Polin read on his phone was, Yehi zichro ma'apecha. May his memory be a revolution. Jonathan continued, "The most common word that I've received from people, thousands of messages, is slicha. I'm sorry. Hirsch," he said to his dead son, "we failed you. We've all failed you. You would not have failed you. You would have pushed harder for justice. You would have worked to understand the other, to bridge differences. You would have challenged more people to challenge their own thinking. And what you're pushing for now is to ensure that your death, the deaths of all the soldiers and the deaths of so many innocent civilians are not in vain. Your starting point will be returning all the hostages. For 330 days, Mom and I sought the proverbial stone that we could turn over to save you. Maybe, just maybe, your death is the stone, the fuel that would bring the remaining 101 hostages. Od lo avdat tikvatenu, our hope is not lost. But you're a dreamer, an expansive thinker, so you would keep on pushing for a rethinking of this region. You would say, you have said, that we must take a chance on a path with potential to end the ongoing cycle of violence. You would ignore people's public posturing, what people say for press conferences, and you would push every decision maker to truly look at themselves in the mirror and ask themselves selflessly every single day, will the decisions I make today lead to a better future for all of us? And you would tell any decision maker who cannot answer that question with an empathic yes to step aside. John ended his son's eulogy by repeating the words, Yehi zichro mahapecha. May his memory be a revolution. When many were calling for unleashing further destruction and indiscriminate revenge, for turning Gaza into a parking lot, John Polin stood at Hirsch's funeral at a time of unimaginable loss with spiritual and moral clarity, with resilience and unwavering hope, with commitment to justice and a better future. His belief that Hirsch's legacy should inspire a revolution reflects a profound faith in the potential for transformation, even amidst despair. In the darkest of times, John honored his son's conviction that the world can indeed become as it ought to be. John and his wife Rachel find their way to navigate in the darkness. Give me a sign, Lord, give me a sign on his forehead, that in the fire and the flames and the blood I will know the pure, eternal spark, that which I search for, a human being. The second story, Dr. Melila Hellner Hedgeshed, whose prayer read before Kol Nidre, is a professor of Jewish mysticism and Zohar at Hebrew University and the Shalom Hartman Institute. For many years, she has been a beloved friend and teacher to many of us here. Her journey with us at BJ began in 1996, when she first taught for us at a retreat. This past week, As we marked 1 year after October 7th, Melila shared her reflections on the Jewish Women's Archive podcast, Can We Talk? This is what she said. I think one of the most important and life-giving experiences for me this year, after October 7, was the work of the Israeli-Palestinian Dialogue Group with which I've been involved for over 20 years. 4 days after the massacre, we started the first grief circle for Israelis and Palestinians. And it was so needed that for the following 2 months, we held such a circle every single week. You know, she said, there is this notion that in grief, every person should go back into their own identity group. And that's how we do grief. But I think that being a person who has been doing Israeli-Palestinian peace work for many years, it's really learning that we can do this together. We can stand together in moments of joy, and we can stand together in moments of deep grief. I can stand with my Palestinian friends who are mourning for other things. They're mourning the death of many members of their family in Gaza, and I'm mourning what is happening to us, Israelis. The experience of sitting together in a room, Israelis and Palestinians, knowing that outside is this raging storm of so much hatred and so much dehumanizing and so much racism, that we manage somehow to keep that outside of the door and the windows, was so strengthening. There are so many forces in this moment just wishing to keep us further and further apart, that we are saying no. We won't do that. We will uphold our faith that we have all been created in the image of God, and that we must return the faces to people on both sides of the conflict. Another truly inspiring example of the search for humanity in the darkest of times. Melila too embodies courage, moral clarity, and a deep commitment to both Jewish and humanistic values. Give me a sign, Lord, give me a sign on his forehead, that in the fire and the flames and the blood I will know the pure, eternal spark, that which I search for, a human being. So often, reality shatters us. It shatters our faith in God. It shatters our faith in humanity. It shatters our faith in the future. It leaves us in the dark. It has been really hard to maintain faith. We're all struggling, hoping for strength and steadfastness in the face of trouble and uncertainty. I pray that the next 24 hours of this Yom Kippur will be deep and transformative for each one of us. That we will have moments of authentic prayer, of encounter with our true selves, with our humanity, and that we will be embraced by the divine presence. I pray that those encounters, even if fleeting over the next day, will move us to arise and take the risk to move through the darkness, to take the risk to love, to forgive, to heal, to work for justice, to pursue peace, so that human beings together with God will rise to take care of this world and make it bright with light.